Today we are going to be playing That's Not a Hat. I'm going to explain the rules and then we're going to play. Everybody's going to start with a card. It looks like this or this, and the arrow tells you which direction you're going to pass the card. Each card has some sort of little symbol on it. I will start, and I'm going to flip over my card. This is a chicken bone. Does everyone know it's a chicken bone?
Yeah.
And say, Eden, here's a chicken wing. She will now flip over her card, and she's going to pass that and say, here's a mouse.
Here's a mouse.
Now, if I didn't think this was a mouse, I'd say, no, thank you for the mouse, and give it back, but I know it's a mouse. So I'm going to say, thank you for the mouse. This is an egg. Here's an egg.
Here's an egg.
And then you just pass it around. And you have to remember what you have.
Broccoli! Thank you for the baseball. Here is broccoli.
Thank you for the broccoli. Here is a magnifying glass.
Thank you for the magnifying glass. Here's a bow.
Thank you for the bow. Here's the pretzel.
Thank you for the pretzel. Here's a hammer.
Thank you for the hammer. Here's your
That's you pressed it the wrong way.
You too.
I did.
What'd you give me? What'd you give me?
Hammer.
Thank you for the hammer. Here's the bow.
That is not a bow. Thank you for the bow. Here's a pretzel.
Thank you for the pretzel. Here's a camera.
Thank you for the camera. Here is a baseball.
Thank you for the baseball. Here's a broccoli.
Thank you for the broccoli. Here's a magnifying glass.
Thank you for the magnifying glass. Here's the hammer.
That's for you.
Thank you.
She gave you a hammer? Broccoli.
Wait.
Broccoli. Broccoli. Thank you for the broccoli. Wait, no. What did you give me?
I gave you the hammer.
Thank you for the hammer. Here's broccoli.
Thank you for the broccoli. Here's the magnifying glass.
Thanks for the magnifying glass. Here's a bow.
Thank you for the bow. Here's the pretzel.
What'd you say again?
Pretzel.
Thank you for pretzel. Here's the camera.
Thank you for the camera. Here's a baseball.
Thank you for the baseball. Here's a hammer.
Thank you for the hammer.
What'd you
Here's
give
a
me?
camera.
Thank you for the camera.
Can't
Here's a
tell me.
baseball.
Thank you for the baseball. Here's broccoli.
Thanks for broccoli. Here's magnifying.
Thank you for magnifying. Here's a bow.
Thank you for the bow. Here's a pretzel.
Thank you for the pretzel. Here's a hammer.
Thank you for the hammer.
Oh.
Here's a bow.
Thank you for the bow. Here, it's a pretzel.
Is that a pretzel?
Hammer time.
I don't think it's
College. You're cheating right now.
I'm not cheating. How would I cheat? I didn't look.
You're looking up.
I'm going like that. Can you see that?
You don't look.
Here. Thank you for the pretzel. Here is a camera.
Thank you for the camera. What's the other thing that... So you have baseball and what?
You can't tell.
I can, but should I?
Guess what it is?
What? Jack? Jack!
Okay.
What? You serious?
Okay, enough. This is the baseball.
Thank you for the baseball.
Broccoli.
Thanks for broccoli. This is a magnifying glass.
Thank you for the magnifying glass. Here is a hammer.
Thank you.
I missed the
The
hammer.
hammer.
Whoa!
I'm actually not looking.
Hey, someone's got to pick it up. You're cheating.
I can't see through a desk.
You literally have a hole. You could have.
Well, now, joke's on me. I don't remember what I had.
Thank you for the hammer. This is broccoli.
Thank you for broccoli. Here is a magnifying glass.
Thank you for the magnifying glass. Here's a bow.
Thank you for the bow. Here is a pretzel.
Yeah, that's the pretzel. Thank you for the pretzel. This is the camera.
Thanks for the camera. Here's baseball.
Thanks for the baseball. This is hammer.
Thanks for the hammer. Here's magnifying.
Thanks for the magnifying. This is broccoli.
I do not thank you for broccoli.
Wow! Get out, baseball.
Wow.
One card. You're done. You're done.
I'm out.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you for the record player. Here is broccoli.
I remember what that is.
That's what I was gonna say.
Or is it the magnifying glass? You didn't. You passed it that
Oh,
way.
it's a magnifying glass. It's a magnifying glass. Here's a
why are we
magnifying
helping
glass.
each other?
I know that because it
I was
passes
trying to
it.
trip her up. I don't know if it's a magnifying glass though. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know what you just passed me.
Thank you for the magnifying glass. Here's a bow.
Thank you for the bow. This is a pretzel.
Thank you for the pretzel. Here's a hammer.
Thank you for the hammer. This is a bow.
Go speed
For
round.
the bow, here's a weight.
Oh, speed round. Come on.
Yeah.
Thank you for the pretzel. Here is a record player.
Thank you for the record player. Here's broccoli.
Thank you for broccoli. Here is magnifying glass. Broccoli.
Magnifying glass. Thank you for the magnifying glass. This is a hammer.
Bang.
I have a game, so it's good. I have a cookie. Here's a record player.
This is broccoli.
Thank you for broccoli.
Thank you for bow. Here's pretzel. Wait, here's pretzel.
Thank you for the pretzel. Oh, no, here's a bow. Yeah, you were wrong. That's a bow.
That's thank you, bow. Thank you for the bow. It's a pretzel.
This is not the hammer. Magnifier.
Thank you for magnifying.
You're right.
Here's bow.
Thank you for bow.
I just got bow.
Here's pretzel. No, that's not.
This is bow.
That's not the bow.
Wait, you just gave me the pretzel?
Yeah.
Then
Don't.
Time's ticking, guys.
Yeah. Wait, what did you say this was? Pretzel? Pretzel.
I'm calling it.
Here's pretzel.
Okay, here we go. Here's a bow.
Thanks for the bow. Here's a record.
Thank you for the record player. Here's magnifying glass.
Thank you for the magnifying glass. Oh. Oh, here's a cookie.
Really?
That's what I'm going for.
Because I have cookie.
You don't have a cookie.
Really? You really want to play this?
I mean, you call it. Call
This is
it.
cookie.
No! What are you doing?
I have the record player.
I'm cookie.